Okay, so welcome back to another episode. Today I'm joined with Patricia Pizzaw. Did I pronounce that correctly?
No, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, she is
Nobody
the
ever does.
master of Casco Viejo in Panama when it comes to real estate. So tell me about yourself.
Oh my God, I don't know if I'm the master. I've just been here quite a bit. Well, strangely, my background is not completely in real estate. For some bizarre reason, my background was ballet, dance, tourism, and somehow a lot of other things. But actually, Casco Viejo is part of my personal history because my dad was basically born and raised here. So I grew up coming here forever. The National Theater is right here, so there were all these visits to the theater, but also just family visits saying, oh, here's where I used to live, this is where your uncle lived. So the whole side is very personal to me. So I loved it from day one. And I guess in 2004, there was the opportunity to come here and start redoing stuff. So I was very excited.
And you came with Casey?
Yes.
Am I allowed to mention his name?
Love my life. Yes, of course. In a way, it's even better because at the time I was working at the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute, and people said, "Oh, you're jumping from like the Smithsonian to like real estate." I'm like, not really. I'm jumping from helping the forest and ecosystems to helping Casco Viejo, which is also an ecosystem and it's very fragile, and you can only do that from a place of love. So it was always like, you know, a family and a project out of passion.
So speaking of projects, what have you and Casey, you basically built Casco.
No.
You pretty much, no, the newer part of Casco. You've been part of a lot of the different projects.
Stuff, yes.
What have you developed?
Oh, well, I think what people most relate, it's funny, like we never put a plaque on anything we did. Like Clara, my mother-in-law, that drives her nuts. It's like, when are we gonna put a name on it? We've never did. But as a company, and this was a company created with friends, with family, when we moved in and we started doing stuff, there were no hotels in Casco. Like literally you had to stay at either a friend's house or our house. And that gets a little old quickly. So we created the first hotel, the second, and pretty much the third hotel in Casco.
Okay.
Back when there was nothing. So I think probably that would give you a little bit of how we think. We also started residential, like high-end residential, and also more like affordable residential. We were always thinking like in this system thinking, trying to get a variety inside. And I think we were the first company to do that here.
Yeah, and you've developed La Quince as well as, or sorry, you basically you built La Quince.
Yes.
Yes, and so what is La Quince?
Well, Casco Viejo is two neighborhoods, and this is just part of the education that we do for everybody. Everybody equates Casco Viejo to San Felipe. It's like, no, it's two neighborhoods. You have a portion of Santa Ana, where La Quince is, and then you have the whole of San Felipe, where Santa Familia is. So La Quince is a cluster of 5 buildings that we did on Calle Quince, and the idea was to create synergy in an area where you definitely needed to bring everything back. It was an area that many years ago had fires, so it had been completely devastated. And to bring that tissue back, it required synergy and it required a number of things. So it got designed to have that just mix of things. For example, like La Manzana would be that cultural bomb in that area. So that's why it has a theater and it has events and all that. And then the other buildings, they're all one in front of the other, and it's all residential with mixed use. So it can all talk to each other and be part of supporting the growth in Santa Ana.
Wow, awesome. And there's more to come, but we're not talking about that yet?
Nah.
And you just delivered Santa Familia?
We are in the process of delivering the last unit. Hopefully by the time of release of this video,
yes,
we already have the inauguration party.
And we created a video together that took you, Santa Familia took you how long to build?
Oh my God. Now there's a whole debate, but I say 15 years, Casey says 16. I think it just feels like 18.
Yeah, it does.
You inspired us to make this video with the whole history, and we've now been trying to compress it, and it's impossible.
So if you want to check out that video, go to the link up top or down below or on the sides. It's a long video because it took a long time to film.
Yeah.
So now I want to know more about the nitty-gritty stuff. What are investors looking at? What are they, when they were thinking Casco Viejo, talk to me.
What are they thinking? What are they thinking? Well, it's funny because Panama attracts all sorts of investors. But Casco Viejo specifically attracts a very particular type of investor. It tends to be somebody that likes a walkable district, that has probably lived in a walkable district, whether that's North America or Europe. They just like the community vibe, how you're able to go out, have a coffee, walk, cross, meet people. It's that type of investor. So first and foremost, what attracts them to this area is that dynamic and the beauty, the human scale of it. And then they decide, so what could we do here? I think you have these two big, types of people looking. You have the people who say, show me the money. Give me an Excel sheet. I want the returns. I want that. But you can get that anywhere.
Yeah.
So at the end of the thing, my job a lot is to find out, like, really truly what's going to make this person happy.
Yep.
And yes, the Excel is going to back that up.
Of course, yeah.
But first we want the person to be happy. And then there's the second person who says, I love it. I want to be part of it. How can I do that? And then we can explore. We're very based on the objectives, like what's important to you. It's going to be different for everybody. I think because of how Panama has structured the visa programs, there's people thinking, hey, I might as well have something I really like and have a visa.
Yeah.
So that would be one package. So you can have that with a commercial space or with a property that you bought. Depending on your visa, 300,000, 500,000, that's your starting point.
Yep.
And that gives you that plan B for people to stay in Panama for, however they like. And then there's the people who are saying, okay, I would like to have something that I can use, but then also throws me some cash. And we have that type of models in some of the units that are managed by hotels, for example. So those would be fully licensed, properties that you can stay when you're here. But then if you're not, it's just generating rent.
Yeah, and speaking of rent, what are people looking at in the different areas for rentals?
Well, now Casco is truly having a separation or a definition of areas, and depending on the pockets. So it's actually fascinating to see. For the longest time, I think we've been the only ones keeping true statistics of values since, I guess, 99 all the way here. But it was all labeled like Casco. Now we have enough San Felipe and Santa Ana on its own to start separating the data and seeing the growth. And even in San Felipe, what happens if you are inside zone of silence or not? So we're thinking even on those terms down on how to segment the data and be able to show. It's funny because for long-term rentals, I have never seen, and this goes back to, I have rarely seen more than a 4%, 5%.
Okay.
Those numbers may change if the unit is in short-term rental. And for that, you can all go to AirDNA and check it out, buy the report for San Felipe. I think numbers now with tourism picking up are looking a little different. But for long-term rentals, you're going to be in that 4 to 5. Note that a lot of these properties, they have tax incentives like no property taxes and all that. So also the carry of the property is very light in that sense. So most likely your expenses are going to be your HOA fee, that kind of stuff. Now with Casco Viejo law ending, it's going to change a little bit.
Yep.
But for San Felipe, I think you're going to see now You saw already the growth with the two hotels, Sofitel and La Compañía.
Yep.
Santa Familia is going to cement that. But then there's going to be a stabilization of this area. And for Santa Ana, you're going to see the growth. In Santa Ana, at least in La Quince, you are able to purchase at 2008 prices. So if you see the trajectory of San Felipe, you're able then to see what's going on there, and you're still able to step in early. And it's going to be happening so much faster than anybody ever thought. I'm looking at everyone's projects and the volume that is being created. There's going to be a before and after, and people are not looking at it. Well, and then to your question of what are people looking for, if you're a type of person who you like being the early bird, the risk investment, I like my delta, I love being in edgier places, Santa Ana might be appealing to you. If you're someone who said, you know what, I'm actually going to use it myself, I would like to be in a more established area, then San Felipe. So it's so personal, it's so catered, that we love speaking to people and really hearing them out, and that will prompt out what the options that will be out there.
What about the numbers?
Numbers.
Rental numbers.
Rental numbers.
Just so people, foreigners like myself, Canadian, when they come to Panama, what can they expect?
If you're coming to rent for a year, for San Felipe, your starting point is really going to be $1,300. Some
US dollars.
US dollars. We only work in US dollars. Is anybody taking Bitcoin? No, I don't think so. Not for this. So 1,300. Some people will include like electricity and all that. Most likely, it's not included. So anywhere between 1,300 to 1,800 for a one bedroom, depending if it's furnished, if it's not, and how and where is it. And for a two bedroom, you're going to be in that 2,000 all the way up, depending. I think right now my top rentals would be in that 5,000, and that's for San Felipe. But then if you go to Santa Ana, you can be as low as $650 per month. And I think your cap right now there is anywhere between, I think, $850, $900 for a long-term rental.
Okay. Cool. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
This is easy.
Cafecito.
Cafe. Okay, so if you're interested in Casco Viejo, San Felipe, or Santa Ana real estate, contact Patricia.
Yeah.